Miller, Managing Director of Solid Leaders, and with me is our Chief Marketing Officer, Monique Cunningham. Hi, Monique.
Hello, good to have everyone here today.
Today we're going to be talking for the next 25 minutes about strategic career planning and what you can do to plan your career. What I'll be doing is I'll be sharing my screen in a moment with you and sharing a presentation that we're also going to send out to you after the webinar. And Monique will make sure that that happens. Strategic career planning for leaders. I'm going to share my screen right now, and you should now see it. Do you see it, Monique?
Yes, we see your screen, yes.
Good. Okay. Here we go. So what is strategic career planning? It's where you get to plan your career strategically. And we want to start with the end in mind. So starting with the end in mind means going all the way to the end of your full-time career and talking about what happens to executives as they transition from a full-time role into fractional type activities. And I call these activities a portfolio of activities or portfolio life. So just like you diversify your investment portfolio and you have stocks and bonds and CDs and cash and real estate, you also should start diversifying your career portfolio. And your career portfolio is made up of a number of different aspects. We'll talk about those, but multiple streams of interest in this end game for you create a rich river of work in semi-retirement. So portfolio life, synonymous with semi-retirement. It enables you to give back in meaningful ways. It provides a multiple stream of activity that keep life interesting, diversify your income sources, and also really helps stave off Alzheimer's and other maladies. So retiring is a really bad idea. Within 6 months of an executive retiring, if you will, dullness sets in and all kinds of dysfunction, depression, weight gain, lack of enthusiasm for life. Executives are wired in a different way than the normal population. Executives are not normal. You knew that, Monique, right? The executives are just not normal. We're wired to be overachievers and to accomplish things and to be task-driven and to get stuff done. And an executive retiring, really bad idea. You should retire when you need hospice. But portfolio life is a great idea. And so you diversify your career just like you diversify an investment portfolio. Now, most don't plan their careers. They're strategy lists. It's dangerous. It can derail your career. It can put you at effect. So recruiters can contact you, and they're trying to put a round peg in a round hole. And you may want to move your career in a certain way that doesn't necessarily include a lateral move where you're just a round peg, round hole. So for you to have the best possible career, you have to be in control over it, not to be at effective recruiters or companies. Companies have plans for your career. Their plan is for you to do the very best that you can do to benefit the company. But they're not thinking, okay, what's best for your long-term success? You have to think about that. You have to determine what's best for you and execute it. And the action here is take control over your career. Now, I have a question for you. Most do not have a written career plan. And I'd just like to see a poll here. Are you starting to plan your career now? Who's involved in starting the planning process or has a career plan? Monique, could you poll everyone? Are you starting to plan for portfolio life now? Let's just answer that poll if you would. So planning starts with the end in mind. Both long range and tactical vision is needed. A guy I used to coach before he passed away this last year, I've been with him for over 20 years, John. And John taught me this. You need bifocal vision. You need to be looking bifocally, tactically at your present situation and your next role, but also long range at portfolio life and where you're going to end up to have the best possible career. So the action is you need a roadmap. You need some type of roadmap. So do you have a career plan? That's the second poll. And looks like 78% are starting to plan for portfolio life now. 78% of you. So the next poll, do you have a plan? Do you have a written career plan? My experience is that about 90% of you will say, no, I don't have a written career plan. So it's, I think, ironic that you spend all these hundreds of hours over the course of your career doing strat planning for your companies, but you don't do any type of strategic planning for yourself and for your career. So having a written plan is, I think, what's critical. And I'll help you in those complimentary sessions, or if you're a client, during our client work, we'll put together a written career plan. And it could be on the back of a napkin. It could be just this one-page doc that says where you're going now and where you're going next, where you're going next, and what portfolio life looks like. It doesn't take much time, but let's see. 81% do not have a written career plan. How about that? Okay, so you need a roadmap. So if you're going from Dallas to Denver, there is a shortcut or a straight cut, and that's not through LA and San Francisco. So you need to do these 3 steps. Number 1, define long-range goals. And that's what we're doing today. We're talking about portfolio life, long range, semi-retirement. And then list out your portfolio type activities that you're most interested in and rank order them. Here's why. Let's just say that you have this idea of becoming a professional speaker in semi-retirement, in portfolio life. Well, the time to start speaking is not at 60, 65, 70 years old when you say, okay, I'm done with full-time work and now I'm going to start professionally speaking. The time to do it is right now when you're 45 or 50 to go to Toastmasters and start increasing your speaking engagements and really get out there and practice. The same thing with being on boards. I cannot tell you how many clients over the last 30 years that I've been coaching have come to me and say, I want to get on boards. And they're 60, 65, 70 years old. They've never been on boards before. That now they have all the time in the world to be on boards, but guess what? Everyone wants to know, well, how much board experience do you have? So the time to have gotten onto boards is in their 40s and 50s to prepare so that now they have 10 or 15 or 20 years experience in being on boards. And so now they want to be on more boards. And it's easier for them to be successful because they've actually prepared for portfolio life. So number 1, define long-range goals. Number 2, define mid-range goals. And number 3, define what you're going to do next. Most people are not satisfied with what they're doing currently. So I have a question for you. How satisfied are you in your current role? So here's a poll. Are you satisfied with your current role? And I'm going to go on here as we're doing that poll. So the intersection of 4 indices are what I use to help clients figure out what they should go do. So as you get older, what happens is you really come to the tip of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you're no longer at the bottom, the base of Maslow's hierarchy, which is survival, just getting a paycheck. No, you have financial independence or close to. You have had a great career, so you're satisfied. You have a family that maybe you've launched, and you still have your health. So you're at a place of having it all. When you get to that place of having it all, this diagram becomes more and more important. this model of hitting your sweet spot. So just like there is a sweet spot on a golf ball or a tennis ball, and that racket hitting the ball or the club hitting the ball in that perfect way, and it just, wow. Well, the same thing with your career. If you hit the sweet spot of this intersection of four things, the natural direction of your career. So at 50 years old, I know one of my clients on this webinar is a CFO. What she should not do, Stephanie, is go back to school and become an architect. The natural direction of her career is continuing to be a publicly traded CFO and going to maybe another level, a larger CFO role, or maybe a more complex next role. So anyway, just giving you the poll results real quick. 50% are satisfied with your current role, and 50% are not. So that's about what we typically see. About half of you are not satisfied in your current role. So here's how to get satisfied, okay? Follow the natural direction of your career, your greatest skills, and I make a differentiation between skills and abilities. A proven ability is this: being you have a proven ability to function at the publicly traded level, or at the PE-backed level, or the VC-backed level. So you have a proven ability to run a function like being a CFO. A skill, I would say, is leadership skills, managerial skills, relational skills, execution skills. But here's what's most important, and here's why we're talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs: your greatest passion. So the list of things, when you fill out this, life is too short to do, ... that list gets longer and longer the longer, the higher up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs you rise to. So it's really important to do things you're passionate about. So passion trumps everything when you're in your later years of your full-time role. And when you go into portfolio life, you need to do things you're really passionate about. But you need to hit the sweet spot of these four indices. By doing those things that are in your sweet spot, you're much more likely to achieve greater job satisfaction while making the greatest contribution to society. And here's a definition of terms. Like I said, we're going to send this deck to you, so we're not going to go over this right now. But here's a very important diagram. So you have a career focus. You notice that's spanning multiple roles into portfolio life. And then you have a job focus, which is tactically, let me go get my next role. The brilliance here that I've learned over the years from you guys, I've had 1,350 some odd coaching engagements over the past 30 years, and you have taught me immensely about this subject of how to navigate a best possible career. And what I've learned is this: that have a strategic career focus, look out several moves, and then reverse engineer to what you should be doing now. Don't look tactically at what I should do next. Because if you look out several moves, and I call it next, right? At least 2 moves out, and then reverse engineer this, what you should do next becomes a lot clearer, a lot more understandable. Okay, so toward a portfolio career. Look at this diagram. On the bottom left, you see somebody who has a job focus. But they come to this webinar, and now they've got religion, and they say, yep, I need to get on boards because I think that's what I'm going to be doing in portfolio life. So they do that, and they get on a for-profit and a nonprofit board. And then they have some type of exit. The company gets sold. They get replaced. Now they're in between roles, and they have time for all kinds of stuff. So they're sitting on more boards. They're writing, speaking, teaching, consulting, whatever. But invariably, if they're young enough, and young is in their 60s, oftentimes somebody comes along with a compelling offer, even though they've said, I am done, I'm in portfolio life now, I'm not going to take on any more full-time roles. And then what happens is unsuccessful retirement. And I see executives go through that over and over and over again, where they just get recruited into doing another role. However, if they're smart, they have a different paradigm. Their paradigm is this is a project. So I'm going to go into this company and maybe it's a 1, 2, 3 year project and I'm going to do a turnaround, or I'm going to do a hyper growth, but get it positioned to be sold, or something that is more project focused, less career focused. But eventually you'll end up in portfolio life. So what are the things that executives do in portfolio life? Good question. So after 30 years of researching this, analyzing my clients as I've watched them go into portfolio life, here is the short list of things coming up in a second. One more slide, and that is you're in the give back phase of your career right now, and or beginning the give back phase of your career. Portfolio life is really about being able to leave a legacy and give back to society as well. Okay, so here is the sample portfolio of activities, and this is worth studying. Very few executives really think about what they'll do in portfolio life, and oftentimes they stay in full-time roles too long because they're afraid, and they don't understand that this is going on, that there's fear inside, but they're afraid of the unknown. What will I do if I'm not working a full-time job? So by getting vision around what you'll do, it really helps to get into it earlier and to fully embrace this fractional life where you're putting together a smorgasbord of activities. So maybe you're an interim leader, and maybe you're doing 1 day a week for a company, and you're sitting on a 1 or 2 for-profit boards, a non-profit board or 2. You're doing advisory work. You're coming on our team, and you're doing coaching. We're always looking for coaches. You're doing some advising work on our team. We're looking for advisors. You're doing an entrepreneurial venture. You're working in a family business, or helping a family member start up a business, or you're teaching at a university, teaching at a high school, speaking, writing, community service, all kinds of portfolio activities. The cool thing is that it's flexible. You can really move this portfolio at relative will. This year you could be on 3 nonprofits and 2 for-profit boards. Next year, you could decide, I'm getting off of my nonprofits because they drive me crazy. It's like herding cats, and I'm going to get on more for-profit boards. Who knows? I think we have another poll here, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to click to a roadmap for advancing your career. So here is a roadmap for advancing your career. And everyone who participates in this webinar, we're going to give 3 complimentary gift certificates. 3 complimentary sessions, 1 gift certificate for you, or you can give it to a colleague to explore portfolio life, or explore your career, or grow your leadership skills, because we do that as well. So Monique, if you could do that poll. And see, would you like a gift certificate to try out Solid coaching, either to grow your career or enhance your leadership skills? And let us know, and we will give you a gift certificate. Looks like 92% want a gift certificate. That's cool. So I'll be busy. All right. So next summary. What you should do is you should dabble in portfolio life. You should brainstorm with others about portfolio life and what that means. Begin research, assess where you are today, assess where you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years. Develop a demanding written career plan and hire a career coach. And this is not self-serving, because you could hire me, you could hire somebody else, but to have a coach that you can work with is invaluable. My clients would tell you that we make you money. We don't cost you money. It's an investment, and you get it back in great dividends, in more income along the way, better quality of life, faster to achieving your goals, etc. Okay. Just a quick briefing on what we do for you in these complimentary sessions or in coaching in general. If it's career coaching and if we're helping you to move your career, which is very different than leadership coaching, which is growing in an existing role. But if we're helping you to manage your career or to get a new role, these are the steps of the process. And we have a whole toolkit that we'll give you. It's a Google Drive file folder that will connect with you. So we need your Gmail address associated with Google Drive. If you don't have one, it's okay. We can give you a link to get in. But all of these tools that I'm going over with you right now are there. We have strat planning for leaders, step 1.1, that is this presentation. We have an orientation to career coaching, which is a roadmap, a very detailed roadmap of how you can manage your own career and other things in that file. Step 2, assessment, to assess where you are today and assess where you're going. We have all kinds of tools for you there. We have goal setting materials as well for you, of setting career goals and actually setting goals in every aspect of your life. We have tools for resume, bio, elevator speeches, all kinds of promotional tools that you can use to navigate not only full-time job searches, but also in portfolio life, because a bio is really your most important tool in portfolio life. You don't really need a resume, you need a bio, a really great bio. Networks, it's all about your network and the leveraging the networks of others. And we have all kinds of tools for improving your networking. Interviewing, best practices of interviewing. Had a client just before I got on with you today, and we're drilling. He's going up to Boston, and he's interviewing for a chief operating officer role. And we drilled, and we practiced, and we rehearsed. So having the interviews before the interviews is very important. Negotiating and closing. This is where I'll make my clients, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more than what they'll ever pay for the coaching, just in negotiating and closing alone. And sometimes even more than that. Onboarding, this is so critical. Do you know the stats are 1 out of 5 executives get fired or quit in their first year? Mm-hmm. 1 out of 5 get fired or quit during their first year of employment in a new executive role. It's crazy. So it's important to onboard, to start the new role right. And it's counterintuitive. So this is something that you're going to want. And we have a little briefing on us in this deck as well, a little briefing on me. And then would you like a gift certificate to try out Solid Leaders? If you'd like one, just we'll follow up with you. We'll make sure you get one. And there's 3 kinds of coaching. 1, career coaching to get a new role or gain a promotion inside your existing company. 2, onboarding coaching, starting a new role. Or 3, leadership coaching, growing in the role. Okay, that's all I have for you. We are right on time. It's 10:28. If you have questions, and please send them into the chat. And what we will do is we will answer those after the meeting. Okay? Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's anyone.
There are any questions, but I did put a link to Daniel's scheduler if you want to go and book a time for that gift certificate for Daniel. If you'll just click that link and book your time, and then you'll be taken through, you'll get right on his calendar, and it's the easiest way to book with him. Quickest and fastest is to just click that link and get booked in. Okay.
Very good. Monique, thank you for your help. Everyone, thank you for your participation. I wish you the very, very best career and best life. And please, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to email me, daniel.mueller daniel.solidleaders.com, and I will be more than happy to respond. And thank you very much. Will you be sending out an email with the presentation? Yes, I will.
Yeah, there'll be the presentation, and there will also be, I guess, a link to Daniel's calendar to book that free if you want to redeem that gift certificate to do that as well. So it'll have all of that in it. So just be looking for that email. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.